Great weather for webbed feet, I think, is the best description, really. It's really trying our patience, isn't it, at the moment? It seems to have been relentless. A lot of the countryside looking like this, fairly flooded. There are literally hundreds at the moment of flood warnings out, and I suspect we'll be adding to those this evening across southern England as more heavy rain is expected. So if you were watching Country File earlier on this week, I did promise you something a little bit quieter and a little bit drier, and here's that high pressure starting to move in. Now, what it's going to do is it means that the blue colours, the cooler air, will start to dominate. Nothing particularly substantial, but it could be a little bit of a shock to the system as it's been so mild. But what will also be a shock is, look at this. There is no rain on this chart for the next 4 days. Fine, dry. Yes, we'll be chasing cloud amounts around, so not that much in the way of sun from time to time. And we could have a problem with early morning frost and fog. That's it. Something to look forward to. Rita.
Good afternoon. It was a dry, bright but quite chilly start first thing this morning. Beautiful sunrise, but the cloud has been edging in ever since. Fairly high to start with this morning. You see this beautiful halo around the sun, spotted in a few places earlier on today, but the cloud has been thickening. This afternoon, the Met Office has a yellow weather warning in place for heavy rain.
Hello again. Well, some parts of the capital have seen quite a bit of rainfall to end the day. The good news is things are looking a lot quieter and drier by the time we get to the weekend, but it is going to be feeling a bit colder out there too. Overall, quite a cloudy end to the working week and feeling a little cooler out there too. Highs between 6 and 8 degrees. And then looking further ahead, well, as I mentioned earlier, high pressure expected to take control of things as we go through the weekend. So finally, some cheerful sunshine on the forecast, but we'll be feeling cold by day and by night, some frost and some fog forecast in places. Bye-bye.
We'll have the weather forecast in just a moment. But first of all, Ben, I want to ask you, why have we had so many storms this winter causing this flooding?
Yes, you can see the effects of the flooding here, Rita. What we know is that because of climate change, rainfall events, when they do happen, are more intense. Warmer air can hold more moisture, and so when these storm systems move through, those rain events are more intense. The rain is heavier. That's why we've seen flooding. It fits the pattern we would expect with climate change. Now, what we've had so far this month is a strong and powerful jet stream that's been bringing weather systems our way. That's why we've had such stormy weather. But if you're looking for a change, this pattern in the jet stream here, the jet stream heading to the north, would allow higher pressure and something drier, thankfully.
So, Ben, we've seen flooding in the Midlands, and I'm wondering, is it heading our way? Is there something we should be aware of?
Well, right now it is raining pretty hard out there, Asad, but the forecast further ahead brings something a little bit different, and I'm sure something quite welcome, as I'll show you in a moment. But yes, at the moment, as I said to Asad, it has been raining. We've had some pretty soggy conditions lately. No, not the really severe floods in other parts of the UK, but I suspect there is some localised disruption out there right now. We have this Met Office yellow warning in force through the rest of tonight for heavy rain, up to 40 millimetres of rain in places. And when I show you the radar, you'll see what I mean. This is where we've had rain falling over the last 6 hours or so. This swathe of really intense rainfall pushing across southern counties of England, now really focused across the London area. We've had some reports of some thunder and lightning and some of these showers now pushing up from the south. So still pretty turbulent through tonight. Some heavy downpours of rain, slow to clear eastwards. It will still be raining in most places by the end of the night. That will all hold the temperatures up 4, 5 or 6 degrees. For most it's dry, a little bit of sunshine, but look at these temperatures, 4, 5, 6 degrees. Could be a bit misty and murky in places as well. Let's take a look further ahead beyond the weekend and into next week, because look at these weather symbols. No real suggestion of any significant rain in the forecast. So that is good news. The ground is saturated. This will give things a chance to dry out. But with that, something colder. Temperatures dropping back below the average for the time of year. Highs of 5 or 6 degrees by day. The nights bringing some frost and some fog patches, turning quite windy as well. So it will feel cold, but it will be mostly dry.
Joe, we heard earlier in the programme about the flooding in Nottinghamshire and elsewhere. How bad is it looking for the next few days?
Well, unfortunately, we know there's more rainfall coming tonight, which will be a problem for the affected areas, particularly Nottinghamshire, for a time this evening. I'm this evening in York, where the River Ouse and Foss converge, and the rivers here are running incredibly high, like they are across much of the country. We have a warning in place here this evening, and there are over 200 warnings in place across the country as we go into this evening and overnight. The banks have burst in places and buildings have flooded. And as you saw earlier in the programme, some widespread flooding in Nottinghamshire over the last couple of days. And if you take a look at these totals, just the first 3 days of January, Nottinghamshire has recorded 60% of its average monthly rainfall already, with Leicestershire at 58% and the East Riding of Yorkshire at 55%, and more rainfall expected this evening for central and southern parts of the country. Now, the current Met Office warning shows the areas where that rain is likely to fall through this evening and into the early hours of Friday morning. Some rather potent rainfall across central and southern parts of the country this evening and over the next few hours, really keeping an eye on those problem areas. And to start the day tomorrow, rain for the east of the country, showers in places, and thereafter our weather begins to settle down. And certainly as we head into Saturday and Sunday, it's quietening down. If you live in the affected areas this evening with that rainfall warning, do take care if you have to travel. There's likely to be lots of surface water and spray on the roads and further flooding in places, so do take care.